Hi folks, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always a huge thank you for joining me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan. Regular viewers and subscribers will know that I've been undertaking and am undertaking a year-long tree and plant identification masterclass, an online program that's been delivered through Frontier Bushcraft by Kirtley, and I'm about halfway through, just over halfway through the year actually with this program. If you want to find out more about what I've been doing on that, if you look in this corner of the screen up here, I'll post a link to the playlist in which I, at the end of every month / module, post a reflective video just like this one, talking about what we've been through. So I've just finished the mid-July into the mid-August module 7, I believe it is, and I was quite happy when I opened that particular module up. It was quite short, sharp, to the point, just like last month's. A few months earlier in the year were they were quite dense, they were quite heavy, they were needed, absolutely they were, but they were a bit of a trawl to get through, and I've wanted to keep on top of it. So I was pleased again when I opened this module up to find that there was not that there wasn't a lot to do, I'm not lazy, but that there wasn't a lot to do. I guess I am lazy. So let's have a look back at this module then. What I liked about this particular module, and as well as one or two of the others, was that it took the theory that Paul had been covering and it took it into what I would call the real world. We actually saw some students on one of Paul's courses foraging, and we also saw Paul and one of his instructors, Spoons, going out to forage as well, and we were seeing these plants actually in their natural habitats, with people with a video camera moving around them, describing them and foraging from them or harvesting from them. So I liked that. I liked that real world application of seeing these trees and plants that we'd been able to theoretically identify in close-up photographs and stills. I liked that real world application. That was good, and it wasn't the only module that Paul's done it. He's done it in one or two previous ones as well. It just seemed to hit home in this particular one. We also had some homework, a two-part homework in this particular module, and it's the second part that I really wanted to focus on in this video. Paul set us a little task to go out to our local area or areas, and as you know, I've been as you may know, I've been using a park that's quite close to my kids' school because it's useful when I drop them off or pick them up. I can spend a few minutes in that park, so it's part of my daily routine. He asked us to identify, not in a scientific way, but just by eyeballing, what were the 5 most common trees in that area and what were the 5 most common plants in that area. So a week or two ago, I popped out one Saturday afternoon and spent a couple of hours wandering around, making a note of everything that I could identify. And that's the key thing. It was no good me going out with my ID book and identifying everything that I saw. What I wanted to be able to do was to be able to see what could I identify off the top of my head, what was in here as opposed to what was partially in here but mostly in a book. So these results that I've got here, they're not scientifically sound, and I'm not saying that they were the most common plants and trees in that area. They were the most common trees and plants that I could identify with no other support or assistance. So here they are. Elder. Elder's one of those trees that now I can identify it, I can't stop seeing it. It's everywhere. Sycamore, perhaps unsurprisingly, as it's often referred to or regarded somewhat as a weed. Ash, seeing a lot of ash in the park in the area that I was in. Pine trees. I've got written down here Scots pine, but actually pine trees, if we try and avoid being too specific and look at what the pine tree family can bring to us as bushcrafters and explode that upper level, then pine trees, lots and lots of pine trees in the area, and rowan as well. And the rowan were quite easy to spot because they all seemed to be in flower, or I'm not sure if flower is the right term, but they all seem to have those very, very conspicuous bright berries as well. So they help me identify them, they help me to see them and then move over to them and identify them. So those were the 5, from my perspective, that I can identify most common trees in the area that I work in. And then he asked for the 5 most common plants, and I'm afraid to say, a little embarrassed to say maybe, I couldn't identify 5 off the top of my head. I could identify 4 off the top of my head, and I would have needed to have brought out a plant ID book to identify the others. And whilst that may have been what Paul wanted, I wanted to play a slightly different game, which was to see just how far I progressed. So I was able to identify nettles, brambles, lords and ladies. I saw lots of those in quite a confined area, really, right next to a primary school as well. What helped with those was, again, their vivid, bright fruit standing out against the doom and the glark of the under canopy where I discovered them. So I spotted quite a lot of them, and also mallow as well. Lots of areas around the edge of the park where there were mallow growing as well. So it's not 5, it's only 4, but like I said earlier in the video, I wanted it to be about what I knew off the top of my head rather than what I could find in a book. So not technically 5 species there. What that exercise did tell me, and there weren't just those 9 things listed there were actually a lot more than 9 that I had listed, but I kind of wanted to figure out what was the most popular 5 of each of tree or plant. It was a brilliant exercise because it was a huge confidence booster. I went out with the tree books with me, but they stayed in my day sack throughout the entire day. I went out with the books, but I went out more with my eyes and my touch and my smell and my vision, and I just went out to see what I could identify. Huge confidence booster. I've said this over several videos, and apologies if you're fed up of me saying it, but it's so true. If you rewind me back to December, January, when I started this, maybe February, I wouldn't have had a clue about 99.9% of those trees that I've just listed that I can now confidently go up to and identify. I wouldn't have had a clue. I wouldn't have known where to start. I wouldn't have been able to place them in a family or anything like that. I would have been completely lost. Fast forward to end of July, beginning of August, and I went into an area and was able to positively identify 5 trees, 4 plants. I'm sure if I went into a different area that had more prevalent species there, I'd have been able to identify more. So a massive, massive, massive confidence booster. I don't know if that was the aim of the homework or if it had another aim, but whatever it was, it certainly gave me a huge confidence boost. I've known this as each module progresses. I've said this, I've experienced this, but this particular module really, really made me hit home. I think it's because we were asked to compile a list. We were asked to kind of be scientific about it and come up with this list, and I captured them on paper. Incredible how far along this learning curve I've gone. Whoa, there's a hell of a lot further to go, and I get that, and even at the end of this masterclass, that isn't the end, it's just the end of the masterclass. I get that, but so pleased that I made the decision to come on the program and how far it's accelerated me along it, and how quickly in comparison to if I just bought a book. If I just bought a book, I wouldn't have gone out and done it. There'd have been no structure there for me. So it's a big thumbs up, Paul. You've got a good program on your hands there. Thanks again for watching this video. If there's something there that I've said or has made you smile or made you think, please do give it a thumbs up. If you think there's somebody else in your network that would benefit from this, there's a share button down below. You know what to do with it. And as always, thank you to those of you that are subscribers. If you're not, if this is the first time you've come across one of my videos and you'd like to see more, please do click that subscribe button in this corner of the screen here. And if you've been watching my videos for a while and you keep coming back to them, there must be a reason for it. Please take this opportunity again to subscribe down in this bottom corner, and you won't miss any future videos. A big thanks for watching, and as always, take care. I'll see you in the next video.